Welcome back to Straub Customs, and today I'm building a present for my brother-in-law for Christmas. So my brother-in-law owns a barber shop, so I'm going to build him a shadow box with a couple things I've collected throughout the year. There's also going to have a little barber shop car on it. This will be the back of it. It's going to have these wired to it. I'm going to have a frame around it, and the frame's going to have, I guess, a carved barber pole on the side. Let's get the backing done so we can get the back board ready to go. I went ahead and moved to the floor because it's the only flat space I got. I cut this piece down so it'll be the part that hangs on the wall. You mount this side of the wall, the whole thing will hold on to it right there. So let's get this drilled on the back piece of all the slats that I made. Of course, I'm going to pilot drill all my holes. There we go, just like that, the back's all done. So that'll be the front with all the stuff on it. Let's get it sanded down so we can get it prepped and ready. There it is sanded. I just used some 220 to knock down the edges, clean up a little bit. I want to keep it rustic looking. It's got some holes in it, got some dings and dents. We're going to keep all that. I'm going to go ahead and throw some black stain on it. So let's get that done so we can start working on the frame. Alright, sorry for the noise, but my neighbors are building something as well. I'm just going to go ahead and take this bristle brush and just start brushing it on. We're going to get it on nice and thick because I'm going to come in and sand it to bring out some of the wood grain and texture after that. Very rough, very loose. Don't forget your edges. Alright, let's take a rag and wipe off the excess. Sometimes you don't need to go through with a sander and it turns out good. There it is, let's start working on the frame. Alright, I got the frame cut out. This part's all tacked together. So that's going to be the depth of it. We got this board for right here. I got these cut at a fancy 45-degree angle. Just like that. And the reason why this side's so big is because I've drawn out a barber pole that I'm gonna try to carve this out. And then it's gonna go right here. So right here is the top. You're kind of looking at it backwards. So it'll be just like this. Let's get to this part now that I gotta cut this out and try to carve it out. files. As you can see, I'm not a woodworker. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, let's figure out next line. We're gonna come back when it's all finished. Basically going through with the straight edge, putting it on the line, kind of getting a little bit of depth with the hacksaw blade. Then we're gonna round some of the edges. Hopefully it turns out pretty good. Gonna add some definition. Alright, there we go. Got all the line strays. Now let's try to add some text or some depth. Got the top portion all screwed together. Now that it's got the backing on it, I'm gonna go ahead and sand it all down, get this one stained. Yeah, I got a little crack. I forgot to pilot drill that one, but I got all the rest done. Threw some glue on there. We'll get that all sanded down. And then we're gonna get this part mounted on. Alright, let's get this sanded now. Alright, and there's the finished piece. We're going to go ahead and get some of the stripes painted. Alright, it's time to get this painted up candy cane style. We're just going to use spray paint and a couple brushes. Alright, that was simple. There's the red. Add a little more up top. Blend it at the bottom. See how easy that is? Cool. Now we'll move on to the white. And since it's that simple, I'm just going to lay it right over top. Put that one there. Get a white that works. Alright, I got a white that works now. Clean our brush out best we can. Spray paint kind of sucks. And I want this to look vintage, so it doesn't have to be perfect. See, that's getting a little too much red in it. Let's try again. Got a better idea. See, always improvise. Something like that. There we go. Cool, time for some gold. Let's see. Got another one right here. Going with this one. Goldish. Says brilliant gold. Looks more like copper. That's all right. Pretty good. Now we're going to come in with some graphite. Maybe. And our finest brush. Just want it light. Just gonna go through and add some depth into these lines. Try to stay out of the white. There we are. And we're done. Now that I got this all sanded up, we're going to come in with some dark walnut. I'm going to lay it on and then I'm going to wipe it off to reveal the wood grain just like the black. These screws are just temporary right now. I've got some other more vintage looking ones that we're going to put in after it's done. Alright, I got the whole thing done in that dark walnut. Let's get it wiped down to reveal it. Just kind of a light wipe. Alright, that's going to look pretty good against the black background. Alright, I'm going to go through and I'm going to get all 6 of these screws switched out. We're going from the small standard Phillips to the more vintage looking flathead. I think that'll give it a better look. Definitely looks better. So let me get 5 more done. Alright, we got the screws done, all swapped over. I think it looks a lot better. I got that pole mounted on. I just screwed it on through the back. Now it's time to get the base. We're going to get this laid out. I got a little piece to go inside for the car to mount on. It'll sit right there. That's for the car. And then we're going to add all the other stuff around the edge. Let's figure that out right now. And here's the finished product. I got everything in there. I drilled some holes in the boards, used some wire, and then I hot glued the wire down so that it doesn't catch on anything. But if you look real close, it's just wires holding everything. It's gonna look pretty good. It can stand up or hang on the wall.